AgriJoy, I have sent you. Hi, Priyanshu.
Hello, hello, ma'am.
Yeah, how are you doing?
Yeah, good, good. I'm feeling better.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay. And thanks a ton for accepting the invitation and joining for the session with us today.
yeah. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So to go ahead with the session, I would like to introduce our guest speaker today. We have Mr. Priyanshu Jain with us, who is a founder and director of AgriJoy and also co-founder of Indian Hydroponics. So today we would be discussing about the business scope and challenges in hydroponic farming. As today a lot of people, so Priyanshu, to go ahead with, I want to understand that how does your entrepreneurial journey started with AgriJoy?
Okay, so actually, since childhood, I was trying to do something in agriculture, and I was very fascinating about agriculture. So while researching about agriculture and trying to venture into it, I saw there's something called hydroponics. I researched more about it, and then I also heard about bamboo ponics. There's a concept called bamboo ponics, where you can do hydroponics in bamboo. So I also researched about it. I talked to a lot of professors and maybe researchers and people related with the industry. So got ultimately I found out that it's not yet feasible as per Indian market standards. So it will take huge cost for you to set up a bamboo ponic system. So I rather ventured into hydroponics, and there the venture started. There the journey started, and then I met my co-founder, Mr. Aniket Shukla. So there we incorporated the company, and now we are into hydroponics.
Wonderful. So what exactly AgriJoy is about?
So AgriJoy is all about building farms for people. We do the turnkey
Okay.
projects. We build commercial projects of hydroponics, and
Mm-hmm.
we provide all-round solutions. And since we are also operating the societal part, that is Indian hydroponics. Indian hydroponics is not actually for business. It's just for promoting knowledge, because there is a huge lack of information in this hydroponics niche in India. There's a lot of misconception about the industries, how to do hydroponics. There's a lot of misinformation about that in and around internet, over the internet. Probably you can say YouTube Gyan. A lot of YouTube Gyan is available here in hydroponics. So we are just here to provide the information, relevant information via the Indian hydroponics. To do the business, there's AgriJoy.
Okay. So basically,
Yeah.
now a lot of people are talking about hydroponics. They are also thinking about investing into, hydroponics. So, are you the company wherein you consult people on how to start a hydroponic business?
Yeah, so we do, but we are highly interested and more interested in doing the projects ourselves, because
Okay.
consultancy can be a lot of can take a lot of hectic part of the team.
Right.
It sometimes requires a lot of a lot of mind effort to set up the farms. So we generally try to do the turnkey projects, but if anywhere who is interested in taking consultancies from us, we also do that.
Okay. Wonderful.
Yeah,
So to go ahead with, let's go with the basics. So what
yeah.
exactly hydroponic farming is about?
Okay, so to simplify it and to in layman terms, let me explain you what hydroponics is. It's just basic science. Hydroponics is nothing, it's nothing out of the blue concept. It's just a very simple science that a plant need only two things, that's nutrients and water. We provide both the things to the plant directly. So the effort of plant finding out the nutrients from the soil is eliminated. So the plant exactly gets what it actually needs. So that's the whole concept of hydroponics.
Okay.
It needs nutrients and water, and nutrients and water is provided directly to the plant. So that is why plant grows tremendously and very good in hydroponics. 10 times faster, 4 times yield, a lot of benefits in hydroponics. So that's the basic
Okay.
thing of hydroponics.
Okay. So, also, are there any, are there different types of hydroponic farming?
Yeah, so there are different types of hydroponics. since hydroponics is just growing plants in water, so you can grow it via different methods. That's one is NFT method, nutrient film technique. There's Wick method. There's ebb and flow, and then there is deep water culture or shallow water culture. It depends actually upon the plant physiology, how the plant actually is. So based on that, you actually select what system is suitable for your needs. Let's say a plant is there's leafy vegetables. So NFT system, wherein you must have seen people grow plants in pipes. So that's actually
Right.
NFT system, and that's very easy for, and that's very compatible for leafy vegetables and
Okay.
leafy greens. And wherein you take talk about those veggies like tomatoes or capsicums or peppers, that's vine crops. So you go for deep water culture and growing plants in grow bags and Dutch buckets. So that's
Okay.
what totally depends upon the plant physiology. So that is
Mhm.
how you select the type of system that is best suitable for your need.
Okay. So, also Priyanshu, is there any specific, plants that one can grow in hydroponic farming, or like there are every kind of plants or fruits and vegetables that you can grow through hydroponic farming, or are there any like exceptions that there are certain kind of plants you can talk about, a vegetable, fruits or vegetable plants that cannot be grown through hydroponic farming?
Okay, so that's a very interesting question. But the thing is, you can certainly grow anything in hydroponics since it's just a basic science. But the thing is,
Okay.
it has to be economically feasible. So the factor of economically, if the thing has to be economical feasible, you can grow even an apple tree in hydroponics. But ultimately, is it economically feasible? Because growing in soil, the apple tree is way more feasible than growing it in water and taking care of it whole round year. So
Right.
it comes to the economic feasibility. It's
Okay.
just that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, also we come across a lot of, news and, through YouTube, we also see that, there are a lot of, especially in the COVID time, we see that someone has, grown plants through hydroponic farming on their terrace and they have earned lakhs. We come across a lot of things.
Yeah.
So I just want
Right.
to know through a business point of view that is it really possible, so basically, how much land area is required at the initial stage if one wants to invest into hydroponic farming as a business? So how is the minimum, area that is required?
So what people what the industry standard is you have to have an land of at least, if you want to go in outdoors, you at least have to have a land of about 5,000 square feet or 500 square meters, because
Okay.
that will provide you the economic feasibility very fast. And it
Mm-hmm.
so you can very easily achieve the ROI in that, provided you have the good market research done. So,
Okay.
and again, hydroponics is indeed very profitable, as you must have seen those articles of the Logical Indian, the Better India,
Mm-hmm.
and your stories. So
Right.
yes, hydroponics is profitable, but the thing is, before starting, one must have the markets ready, one have the market research ready, one have the marketing channels ready. Because you
Mm-hmm.
have if you have, the growing part is very easy. You can contact any company like us or even us. We can do the setups in about a month or two, and then what will happen, you have the crop of around 45 kgs 50 kgs per day ready with you. So
Right. Right.
where will you sell to it? So that's the
Right.
crucial part, right?
Okay.
So having the market channels ready is very important. And it's not like that hydroponics market can be easily found in any city. uh,
Hmm.
because if you are growing veggies via hydroponics, you must be thinking of growing it exotic greens or crops that will provide you high value in the markets. So those high value crops are not in demand in every city. You have to think about that also. Tier 1, tier 2 cities are good for hydroponics market, but not tier 3 cities.
Okay.
So yes, so it's like that. Yeah.
Okay. Also, as you mentioned earlier, that water and nutrition is added to the plant while in the concept of hydroponic farming. So, does the nutrition that we add externally to the plant vary from plant to plant, or is it the same?
Yeah, so it's like a plant recipe. What you give to the plant, you receive from the plant. And
Mhm.
so every plant definitely has a different combination of recipes. It's just the although it's just basic nutrients like NPK and micronutrients, but the its combination is quite unique for every species of plant. So you cannot have a similar tank, a similar nutrient tank for both Dutch buckets and for NFT systems, or both for
Okay.
tomatoes in layman language, or for and lettuce. You cannot have the
Okay.
same tank.
Right. Okay. So also I have seen, so wherein we are also into consultation of food. So there is one of our clients who is into hydroponics, and wherein so he is into lettuce growing, and he has created that particular atmosphere. The temperature has been maintained properly. So I just want to know, like initially, if someone wants to invest through a business point of view, how much investment one requires at a very basic stage in hydroponic farming?
So yes, the very con of this industry is it is very capital intensive. So if you want to go outdoors, you must have you must expect an investment of around 20 to 25 lakhs. That's the
Okay,
basic. Yeah,
okay,
so that is the very con of this industry, because it will require a whole polyhouse setup, a whole controlled environment there, and many things are taken into considerations. So the cost
okay,
is huge.
mm-hmm. Okay.
But again, you
And
can
what?
receive, if you have the markets, you can have the ROI easily in 2 3 years.
Okay. Okay. So, also, who are the target markets when you talk about hydroponic farming? Because, it becomes really difficult to pitch, as you mentioned rightly, that one can grow the crop very easily, but then selling is an issue that comes further. So, in that case, who would be the target market? If somebody wants to start a venture in Mumbai, on a very small scale. So in that case, who in and around, if they want to sell in Mumbai, so who would be the target market?
So the targets market in tier one cities is very, is very huge.
Uh-huh.
You can say any health conscious person, any gym freak. These types of
Mm-hmm.
peoples are hugely into these exotic greens and microgreens. You can always
Okay.
target them, or you can also have some connections with those nutritionists, dietitians who
Mm-hmm.
uh, who prescribe these types of vegetables to have, because these are extremely nutritious heavy, and they are very nutritious in their diet.
Right.
So yes, we can target those types of people, also those types of people who are interested in eating these types of leafy greens on a daily basis, and who want to
Mm-hmm.
change their diet, who want to have some continental dishes. So
Okay.
these types of target markets are there in B2C segments. When you talk about B2B, there are high-end restaurants, high-end cafes, and so it's like the channels these types of businesses have set up. So you can always target them.
Okay. Also, as you mentioned about the nutrition factor, how I can say truth it is that the crop that you grow through a hydroponic farming is much more nutritious as compared to the farming that we are doing with the help of soil.
Yeah. So definitely there's a fact there, but because we are growing the vegetables, we are also providing it the nutrients, and we
Mm-hmm.
are ensuring that the nutrient is received by the plant, right?
Okay.
But when we talk about the soil, we are not actually in control of what the plant is receiving. You must have seen via, if you have traveled via the local trains in Mumbai, people grow palak besides the railway tracks via sewage. So it's there are very hard elements are growing into the plant, and ultimately it is going to the human body. So that's
Right.
very harmful, right? So in hydroponics, we can actually control what the plant is receiving and what we will ultimately consume. But in soil, we are not in control of that. It's just that.
Okay. Also, through a business point of view, what are the scope with respect to hydroponic farming?
What are the
What are the different kinds of scope with respect to hydroponic farming?
crops?
Scope, business scope.
Acha, okay. Yeah, so you can venture into hydroponics as a as us, as consultancy firms, as people who build farms, people who sell hydroponics. There's a huge gap in the market as of now, because
Okay.
there are n number of farms and number of companies who are setting up the farms, but there is
Mm-hmm.
no one to sell, because big baskets are also full of stomach. They are not inviting any new vendors because of the COVID, and
Right.
these types of guys are also full on vendors. So there could be a disruption in the market side, where one can come up and one can, set up channels for in every city for the markets. There are
Mm-hmm.
indeed markets for, we also have connections in tier one, tier one cities like Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore, but not in every city. So, if we could provide the market opportunity and market support to our clients, anyone will be, interested to venture into hydroponics, because the only thing that's not helping people venturing into hydroponics is just the market side. It is difficult.
Okay. Okay. We have a question here. Does hydroponics can help? Just a minute. Okay. Does hydroponic can help for slum farming as well?
For
Slum farming.
one second, for slum farming,
Yeah.
what is
So
slum?
basically,
What is slum?
yeah. So slum farming is basically, a farming that can be done in slum areas as well.
Okay, okay,
So
yeah, yeah.
yeah. So the question is
So
like, can hydroponic farming happen in slum areas as well?
So the thing is, anywhere hydroponics can happen. People
Okay.
are even NASA is even doing hydroponics in Moon and in ISS, International Space Station. So practically anywhere you can go grow hydroponics veggies. So it is not dependent upon the surface. It is not dependent upon the locality. But the thing
Okay.
is, it is indeed capital intensive. So if there is any NGO or any similar organizations like that can fund that, so you can definitely, so one can definitely set up, farms in slum areas as well.
Okay. There's one more question for you. What is better, normal crop grown in soil or hydroponically grown crop? I guess the question has been answered.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So one more question is, in slum areas, can hydroponics farming can be done? That question again has been answered just now. Okay. So coming back to the topic, Priyanshu, what are the challenges one faces? When they get into hydroponic farming venture.
Okay, so there are a number of challenges. Pest control is a very huge challenge, because
Okay.
people take pest control very lightly. But even in the controlled environment, even though it is always covered, everything, but there are still a number of pests like mites, aphids, and everything like that. Small, small plants, small pests. They in no time can eat up your whole crop, right? So there are very basic methods, because since we claim hydroponics to be pesticide free, so we have to ensure that we keep the hydroponics crops pesticide free. So we have to
Hmm.
use natural methods to control those pests like neem oil and everything like that.
Hmm.
And there is also a concept called lady bee concept, where ladybug, wherein you must have
Okay.
seen those ladybugs, red color ladybugs. They are actually
Right.
very friendly for the
Hmm.
plants. What they do is,
Okay.
actually, there's a natural concept. What they do is they eat those small mites and aphids, and they
Hmm.
actually save the crop from plant sucking insects like that. And yeah, so not in India, but in foreign countries, in first world countries, they actually buy a whole bunch of ladybees and they ladybugs, and they introduce them intentionally to the polyhouses,
Hmm.
just so that they can eat those small mites. So if
Okay.
you have a ladybug in your polyhouse, it's a very good sign. You can
Hmm.
help it thrive. And if you have
Okay.
small aphids, small mites, you have to check it, because it could be a huge problem again.
That's something interesting to know.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. Okay, we have one more question by Craves Yard. Can we grow crops like wheat, rice by hydroponics?
Yes, definitely you can grow. There are huge concept of growing even fodder these days. Fodder is also
Okay.
grown hydroponics, in is grown in hydroponics very efficiently. Just a
Mm-hmm.
matter of fact, in hydroponics you can grow fodder in less than 15-20 days, and wherein
Mm-hmm.
it actually takes 45 to 50, even 60 days to grow via conventional methods. So it could actually save huge costs, and space, because fodder you can grow indoors, you can grow it in a shed. There's a cupboard like system wherein you can grow fodder very easily, and
Okay.
it could actually help the farmer very much. Because we generally say that hydroponics is not meant for farmers, hydroponics is very capital intensive, but when it comes to fodder being used, being grown hydroponically, there is a huge scope there.
Okay. Wonderful. There's one more question by Savory Science. Nutrients mixed in hydroponics are natural or chemical?
So, see, nutrients mix in hydroponics is definitely chemicals. They are basic elements that even we consume via different, via our different diet scopes. So, they are ultimately basic elements, basic chemicals we use. But, and yes, we cannot talk about them as being biodegradable or organic. They are certainly not organic,
Okay.
quite frankly. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Considering the Indian market, Priyanshu, what crops basically are profitable in hydroponic farming?
Any considering the hydroponics market and everything, any leafy greens is very profitable in hydroponics. NFT systems are way more easy to handle and way more easy to operate via any, any layman person or any person who is new to this industry. Dutch buckets could be a quite complicated system, and growing tomatoes could be quite complicated. But when you venture into leafy greens, it's very easy to operate them comparatively, and you can grow tremendous crops even in verticals easily via hydroponics in NFTs. So there's also a trick to understand that any plant that is having an approximate height of around 2.5 feet can be easily grown into hydroponics NFT channels.
Okay, great. There's one more question. How can we use organic nutrients in hydroponics?
So if you want to have organic nutrients into hydroponics, I recommend you go to aquaponics, because aquaponics is the system wherein you use fish excreta to provide nutrition to the plants. So that could be organic, but hydroponics is certainly not organic. It can be clean, it can be pesticide free, it can be nutritious, but it cannot be organic.
Okay. Also, the water that is being, used to supply to the plant. So, is there any kind of treatment given to that, or is there any specific condition is required, for that particular water that is being used?
Yeah, definitely. So water has to be cooled, because even though the temperature, outside temperature, even though the polyhouse temperature, inside temperature is not below 25 degrees, but the water temperature has to be below 25 degrees to have a good crop, to make the plants healthy, and it will ultimately help the plant, because you cannot have hot water in there, and hot water will ultimately also catalyze the reaction of nutrients within themselves. So that's a very
Right.
prime important factor when you talk about water. Also, keep the water clean, check for algae growth regularly, because since there are a high concentration of nutrients, there could be a high concentration of algal growth also there. So
Right.
you have to check for
Right.
algal growth, and the next thing is, after every crop you have to clean it. So just rinse the whole water of the mother tank, and you have to clean it, so that algal growth and other fungal growth can be prevented.
Okay. So, also, initially when we started discussing, you said that so water and nutrition is required to grow the plant, but also there is a we have always learned about photosynthesis as well. So, how does that get basically how does that photosynthesis factor get completed when we talk about hydroponic farming?
So, when I said about nutrients and water, it is just the fact that what when we are talking about comparing soil and water, because what we are receiving from the soil can be easily eliminated via hydroponics, like water and nutrients. But yes, sunlight has a very prime importance, and sunlight is everything for plants. So you have to maintain the proper sunlight. It should not be more, it should not be less. It should be optimum. You one can also buy a lux meter for that matter, if they have very fluctuating sunlight specifications in their
Right.
poly houses. So
Right.
also when you talk about verticals, one must
Mhm.
not just for the craze of growing thousands of plants in a small space, growing verticals tremendously. One should not
Mhm.
forget the fact that sunlight to the very end plant is also very important, because
Right.
if the bottom plant won't have the sunlight, it will not grow good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then one more question. What should be the budget if we plan to do hydroponics on a small scale?
So if you want to grow, if you want to have a hobby setup, there is no limit. You can even start with 115, क्या कहते हैं, 1500 even, and 2000. There are hobby kits easily available on the internet, and a bigger setup maybe could be anywhere around 20, 10K, 20K, 30K. So you can easily start with that to have a small setup
Oh,
or a balcony setup.
okay. Also, coming back to the regulations, the food safety guidelines. So, what kind of licenses or certifications are being required if one wants to start a hydroponic business?
So as a grower, as a farmer, you don't need any such specification. But if you want to cater to B2C segment, when
Mm-hmm.
it comes to B2C, there is always a packaging involved, and there is always a brand involved in that. So you always have to have an FSSAI license in that, because it's of prime importance. Also, as a responsible grower, you should always have your plants checked for hard elements. You can always contact a laboratory or local laboratory, if they're established in any college or something like that, or a local government authority is providing any lab facilities, so you can have your vegetables checked there. So it should
Okay.
not have any hard elements there. And also
Okay.
one more thing I always say in every discussion, that please do avoid growing your leafy vegetables in PVC pipes. There's a misconception, you must have seen, that people are growing veggies in PVC pipes, those round pipes which are easily
Mm-hmm.
available. But the thing is, one don't understand that if we could not drink water from that pipes, how could we imagine growing our food from that pipe? Because PVC
Right.
pipe is basically a sewage pipe or a gutter pipe, right?
Mm-hmm.
It when it gets exposed to sunlight, there are huge amount of toxics that are being released into the water. So that
Right.
ultimately grows to your plant, and that ultimately goes to your body. So one must ultimately avoid growing veggies in PVC pipes. You should at least go for UPVC, or even
Mm-hmm.
HDP is good. But growing PVC is complete no-no.
Okay, great. So, before we have a closure of this session, which was really an insightful session, I would say, what
Yeah.
message you would like to give to the people who want to invest into hydroponic farming or who are already into that particular venture?
Okay, so those who want to venture into hydroponics, my only take is please have the markets ready. There is a very huge potential into hydroponics industry in India. But the thing is, since it's a very new industry, it's a nascent industry, it still requires some regulations. It still requires some organization, right? So you have to build those market channels beforehand before venturing thousands of lakhs of rupees into hydroponic setup. So just research more about it, have some market channels ready, have some peoples who can give you at least some guarantee that yes, if you grow these crops, we will be there to buy your crops beforehand. So so that will at least give you some confidence that yes, if you have those crop ready, you can easily sell it off, right? And after having your B2B channels established, you can always venture for B2C. There are huge profits into B2C. So that's my
Okay.
only take. Yeah.
Okay. Priyanshu, thanks a ton for giving your time and joining us for this session and sharing an insightful, information with us. And from the entire team of Spectrum Food Solutions, I thank you once again.
Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, it was very good session. Yeah, very
Thank you.
enjoyable. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.